Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be covering the best transfer targets ahead of game week 7. We're going to look at players you should be looking to buy, players you should be looking to sell, and some cheeky differentials at the end. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe, as we are now trying to hit 750 subs before the end of September. It's a big goal, but I believe we can do it, and it's only going to happen with your support. But yeah, that's enough ramble from me. Let's get into some transfer targets for game week 7. And the first player that we're going to take a look at today is Ivan Toney, a man who has been featuring in my videos a lot, like a hell of a lot this season, and it's for good reason. All the way back in game week 3, I mentioned him as a potential differential. I think he was like 8% owned at the time. Obviously, his ownership has doubled in that time, and for good reason as well. Off the back of an amazing, actually one of the best hat-tricks I think I've ever seen in world football. The penalty, the free kick, and then the chip. It was the composure behind it. Absolutely sensational stuff from Ivan Toney. Third highest scoring forward over the past 5 game weeks as well, only behind Haaland and Kane, and he's only 1 point behind Kane as well, so that kind of represents how good he's actually been. No one's catching Haaland, so that one's a little bit, not good. The reason I've included Toney is, if you're not on a wild card, I think he's got some amazing fixtures coming up. Southampton, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton, Chelsea, Aston Villa, Wolves and Nottingham Forest. So good fixtures till November. And then it's I think it's a double of City and someone else, maybe Arsenal. Can't quite remember off the top of my head, but it does kind of become difficult in 16 and 17. But up until that point, some amazing fixtures. Toney's been in absolutely amazing form over the past 5 game weeks. 4 goals, 2 assists, 37 points scored. Had chances in his other past 2 games as well, where he did blank as well. So it's not like this is just a one-off Ivan Toney performance. He is an amazing footballer and has actually scored more goals than Mohamed Salah this calendar year. So that kind of puts into perspective the numbers that he's putting up. I think it's 10 for Salah, 13 for Ivan Toney. There's also talk of potentially an England call-up, which would be honestly huge for Ivan Toney. And the form that he's in, there's no reason why that definitely could not happen. If he continues putting up the numbers that he is, there's no kind of other forwards doing that from the England setup. So really good for him. A really big incentive as well with the good fixtures coming up. So my first buy is Ivan Toney. Of course, love the man. He's been in my team since around game week 4, game week 3. Loved owning him, and you should jump on this bandwagon as well. But let's move on to the next player within this video. And the next player that I'm going to recommend is Alexandra Mitrovic. Been absolutely on fire, very similar to Ivan Toney, been absolutely killing it since the start of the season. So far this season, 6 goals in 6 games, and within that run as well, he's played Liverpool, Arsenal and Spurs and still managed to score. So I think that shows how good he's been. Also had a missed penalty against Wolves as well, so could have even been even higher. Over the past 5 game weeks, 4 goals, 26 points scored. So not amazing points returned, but he's just been scoring consistently. Also had the most shots among any player within the Premier League at the moment, 27 shots. I think there's only Haaland and Kane who are behind him. He's honestly absolutely leading the way. Now, the reason I've included Mitrovic is the fixtures are starting to turn for Fulham. Obviously, a lot of people have kind of held off owning him just down to the fact that the fixtures haven't quite been there, but he's proved himself that he can score against these more difficult sides. Next fixture coming up is Chelsea, which is a difficult one, yes, but Chelsea haven't been amazing, and Fulham at home is a very difficult fixture at the moment. Fulham have actually been playing really good stuff at home, and Mitrovic absolutely loves it at Craven Cottage. But yeah, after that, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, West Ham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leeds and Everton. Some honestly unreal fixtures. So like I said, if you're not on a wild card and you're looking for a man with amazing long-term fixtures coming up, I definitely think you've got to jump on Mitrovic. A lot of people will be doing that in the wild card. For me, I'm going to try and get him in my team next week against Nottingham Forest. I think that's honestly just a really good fixture to target, to be honest, because Forest at the back look woeful. One of the worst XG conceded sides in the league as well. So Mitrovic will be licking his lips for that one. 6.8 million as well. Absolute steal if he continues to put up the numbers he has done so far. So they were my two buys, Ivan Toney and Alexander Mitrovic. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of them. I think I'm very happy to have either of them in my team. If not, try and get both in my team at the moment, because honestly, imagine that front line, Haaland, Mitrovic and Toney. You'd be absolutely killing FPL at the moment. It does look like there is a return to kind of free forwards. Let me know what your plans are for this week down in the comments below. But let's move on to some players you should be looking to sell. Perisic is my first sell of today's video. Obviously been performing quite well over the past few weeks and actually featured in the buy section of this video like a few weeks ago as well. So has been doing really well. 2 assists, 24 points scored over the past 5 game weeks. But the reason that I'm telling you to take him out is the fact that Spurs' fixtures do kind of get difficult within the next 6. And there is also going to be a hell of a lot rotation. Obviously, was on the bench against Fulham was Perisic, and they've got Champions League coming up within the next 2 weeks as well. I think the first 2 game weeks are this week, midweek, and then the following midweek as well. And you imagine Perisic will probably feature in those games as well. So the fixtures coming up: Manchester City, Leicester, Arsenal, Brighton, Everton, and Manchester United. The only 2 appetising fixtures in there for me are Everton and Leicester. Everyone else is a really difficult fixture. And as a defender at 5.6, I do worry about kind of his clean sheet potential and his attacking potential within those games, because he's going to be doing a lot more defending. Obviously, the Leicester fixture and the Everton fixture, very nice, but just not worth holding on to him for me. Obviously, a lot of games coming up for Spurs with Champions League and the difficulty of the fixtures as well. I think it just makes sense to kind of downgrade him to a Trippier who's got really good long-term fixtures, absolutely killing it on bonus points as well at the moment is Trippier. On corners, on set pieces, that's the kind of move that makes sense to me. Free up a little bit of money as well if you want to get yourself one of the forwards that I've mentioned as well so far in this video. So that was my first sell. It is Ivan Perisic. Let me know what your plans are if you do have Perisic down in the comments below. But let's move on to today's second sell of the video. Andy Robertson is my second sell for today's video. Obviously a very similar theme with kind of the Perisic and Robbo situation at the moment. Both were on the bench this weekend, and Robertson as well, just not looked at as he, to be honest. His expected data, as you can see, is pretty woeful. 0.17 XG, 0.384 expected assists. When you're paying a premium price like 6.8 that he is now, but you obviously started the season at 7, it's just not worth it, is it? It can free up a lot of funds going forward. Like I said, I do feel there is a kind of switch in momentum with people looking to kind of ditch that big at the back mentality and move to a free up front because of the forward options in the game this year. Obviously, there's some absolutely fantastic options emerging with really good fixtures, and freeing up some money at the back is a really sensible thing to do. Yes, the fixtures aren't that bad for Liverpool in the long term, but it's just not worth it. I think if you've got Trent, there's no point on the Liverpool double up either. They haven't looked amazing at the back. They haven't looked amazing as a side in general. So I think it's just worth just getting rid, cut your losses with Andy Robertson. I went with him at the start, took him out for Lewis Dunk and Ivan Toney, and haven't really looked back, to be honest. It's been an amazing move for me. Massively helped me in terms of my mini leagues and my rank. So I think if you're in the same position, cut your losses with Robertson, dropping down to like a Trippier or potentially a Crystal Palace defender, because they've got really good fixtures after kind of game week 10. So if you are not on a wild card and looking for that long-term option, that's where I'd go. And then move into a forward, a Mitrovic, a Toney, and then some of the other differentials coming up that we're going to mention. But yeah, really easy sell this one for me. Andy Robertson not looking as good as he has done in previous seasons, which is a real shame, especially considering a lot of people went with him at the start of this season. But they were my 2 sells. Let me know if you've got them in your side and what your plans are down in the comments below. But let's move on to our differentials for today's video. Dominic Solanke. Oh dear. Yeah, I didn't think I'd be talking about Dom Solanke in a video either. But here we are. My first differential for today's video is Dominic Solanke at 5.7 million. The fixtures for Bournemouth coming up are absolutely unreal. If they want to survive this season, they've got to be picking up a lot of points within the next kind of 10 or so game weeks. Let me read them out to you. Brighton, Newcastle, Brentford, Leicester, Fulham, Southampton, West Ham, Tottenham, Leeds and Everton. Obviously the Brighton, Newcastle and kind of the West Ham and Tottenham fixtures aren't ideal for Bournemouth, but at 5.7 million, you could just easily bench him. Obviously, he's not going to cost you too much. If you are looking to kind of get that third striker option within your team, but don't have the money for Mitrovic or Toney, then I believe this guy could be a really, really good alternative. Obviously, been struggling with injuries at the start of this season, so hence kind of his dismal past 5 game weeks record. And Bournemouth haven't been great, have they? But a win against Nottingham Forest and Dominic Solanke, sorry, on the score sheet, and getting himself an assist as well, potentially could be that momentum shifter, because obviously beating a fellow relegation candidate like Nottingham Forest is going to be absolutely huge for the confidence. Last season in the Championship, he scored 29 goals, absolutely killed it, and I think it's kind of gone under the radar how good he was last season, mainly down to the fact that Mitrovic broke every single record the league had. So yeah, really good season last year for Dom Solanke. There's potentially the new manager bounce that they're going to have as well. Obviously got a caretaker at the moment. Depends who they bring in and kind of his impact on this squad. But if they get like the right man in, good fixtures, Dom's probably going to play every single game week up top. 5.7 million and at 0.4% ownership could be a huge differential for you in terms of your rank and your mini leagues. Let me know down in the comments below, have I convinced you to potentially take a punt on Dominic Solanke? If I didn't have Ivan Toney, or I couldn't afford Ivan Toney, I definitely think he would be within my kind of considerations. But at the moment, I would say if you can afford Mitrovic or Toney, go for them. But if you do need that cheaper option, Dominic Solanke is there. But let's move on to our second differential and the final player in today's video. Ollie Watkins is the final player in today's video that we're going to talk about. He is my final differential, and I really, really like this as a differential pick. Really good fixtures coming up for Aston Villa, Leicester, Southampton, Leeds, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Fulham, Brentford, and Newcastle. Obviously not in the greatest form at the moment, or Aston Villa, but I do feel there's going to be a rejuvenation within their side. Obviously, the draw against Manchester City for me is going to be a catalyst moment for Gerrard's kind of future at the club. Either it goes in this positive direction with the good fixtures coming up, or it leads to him sacked. Because if he loses to Leicester, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him because Leicester are dreadful. Probably could be a sack in Derby, that one. Either Brendan Rodgers goes or Gerrard goes. So I've picked Ollie Watkins. Obviously, over the past 5 game weeks, been in okay form. 1 goal, 2 assists. Only 3 points behind Mitrovic, which I thought was very interesting. But with the good fixtures coming up, I do think that he could be a little bit of a differential pick. Really like the fixtures. Really like Ollie Watkins as well. I think he's fighting for his England place at the moment as well. There's a lot of forwards in that kind of same position. Not too many have started well. Obviously, your Kanes and your Toneys are currently leading the way. So if he does want to make himself like within contention for that England squad come November, he's got to put in some good performances over the next kind of few months. And this run of fixtures is absolutely delicious for Aston Villa. So I do like him as a little bit of a differential pick. I would potentially suggest going Toney or Mitrovic over him, but I do think he will do very well over the next few fixtures. Let me know what you think of this pick. Let me know what you think of all the players included in today's video. If you did enjoy the content, please like, comment and subscribe, and comment down below if you need any help with your team. I answer all the questions down there, so if you do need any help, just let me know. Hope you did enjoy the video, and good luck this game week.